Nigeria's increased efforts to accelerate industrialization, which is a catalyst for job and wealth creation, is on an upward trajectory. This drive is a well-articulated ambition that is fully backed by the current administration in its robust engagement in the global nuclear technology platform. The spin-offs from this new impetus are many. However, industrialization comes with its own challenges in terms of its toll on the environment and exposure of frontline workers to radiation sources when certain technologies are employed. Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Agency (NNRA) has been doing a quietly efficient job in regulating radiological protection and nuclear safety in the country, in order to ensure the protection of life, safeguard health, and the environment from harmful effects of ionizing radiation. The oil and gas sector, which is the mainstay of the Nigerian economy, is, however, the largest importer and user of the radioactive sources in the country. The NNRA, the only government agency which regulates these materials, plays a key role in improving the national economy. The NNRA ensures cost-effective oil and gas exploration and reduction of oil and gas timelines for projects implementation through efficient licensing processes and ensuring that the radioactive sources are secured. The radioactive sources are primarily used to provide essential nuclear well logging, quality control and non-destructive testing services during exploration, oil and gas production, refining, infrastructure construction and maintenance, as well as transportation of products in pipelines.
We regulate them. We make sure that we develop regulations that we guide them in their operation. During the exploitation of oil, there are some excavations. And I have told you that we protect the environment, we protect people from harmful effects of ionizing radiation, we protect the workers. So during the operation, some materials have been taken off from under the earth and some radioactivities may be enhanced in the environment. It is the work of the NNRA to make sure that this environment is restored or is to the normal standard, so that people are protected from the harmful effect of ionizing radiation.
Several NNRA authorizations are required for the smooth operations of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. This includes the registration of premises and licenses to use radioactive sources, import and export licenses for radioactive sources, license to transport radioactive sources from storage facilities to operational sites.
Security of radioactive sources is ensured from the point it comes into Nigeria to the point it's taken to the company's location, from the company's location to a you can call it a temporary another temporary location, and then it goes on water, and then it goes to the rig. Once it gets to the rig, it has to be properly accounted for. It has to be. We need to inspect the rig to be sure that there's special places that have been provided for it. So that the issue of accountability is very important. The issue of ensuring that yes, you have brought source to the rig, you have not brought entry container to the rig. So we ensure you have the radiation monitor. We ensure the radiation safety officer is present, and we ensure that when you want to take it, so you need to sign a document, and then the both parties will exchange this document to show that yes, we have exchanged radioactive material. You have left, I have gone, I'm not going back with the source, and then you have to manage, you have to be responsible for the safety and security of the sources that has come to the rig.
Radiation sources used in the oil and gas industry include americium-241 to help determine where oil wells should be drilled, cesium-137 to measure and control the liquid flow in oil pipelines, to to tell well owners whether oil wells are plugged by sand. Cobalt-60 by oil service companies to improve the safety and reliability of industrial fuel oil burners. Curium-244 to analyze material excavated from pits and slurries from drilling operations. Iridium-192 by NDT companies to test the integrity of pipeline welds, boilers and oil storage tanks for detecting leakages in buried pipelines. Tritium-3 engages to measure oil flows in pipelines and oil platforms for geological prospecting for crude oil and gas, and X-ray scanners for security and baggage scanning. Include well logging techniques which are used to help distinguish the shale content of sedimentary rocks, for lithological identification to indicate how porous the rock is and whether it is likely to contain hydrocarbons or water to indicate the presence of gas, and to determine chlorine or salt water as well as the content of the rocks. Tracer techniques used to provide clear indications on the logs when the logging tool reaches the defined depths, for special reservoir and production evaluation studies, and to evaluate formation fractures and reservoir permeability. Nuclear gauging, installed to monitor or control the density of fluid flowing from pipelines and fluid levels in vessels to detect the interface between fluids of different densities such as water, oil, and gas interfaces in separators. Examples on crude oil export lines. Multi-phase flow meters, used to measure the phase fraction of oil, gas, and water in the flow from oil wells, installed at different locations in refineries for various activities of the flow lines. Radio tracers technique. These are radioactive liquids which are injected by specialized equipment into selected oil and gas field wells. Industrial radiography. Oil and gas operators commonly employ service companies to carry NDT to ensure that all constructions and fabrications are completed to the required standard, and to check the integrity of petroleum pipelines by identifying flaws in welds to prevent leakages where and whenever such leakages occur, and mend them. In order to ensure a hitch-free and safety-first regime in the oil and gas sector, the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority (NNRA) put in place a rigorous licensing process which involves an eagle-eyed inspection, monitoring, and evaluative process which puts the Nigerian, its environment, and the continued well-being of the nation at the forefront of its operations.
We issue several licenses in the oil and gas sector, and this license include the well license. Before you drill any well, you have to get license from the NNRA, because you cannot drill a well without radioactive sources. So we license oil wells, a lot of them. We also gauges for flow of the crude oil, and also for the flow of gas in the gas sector. And we also use the issue license to well logging companies that drill oil for the IOCs and also some of the Nigerian companies. We also give license to people who also see the integrity of the well. They see how the well is drilled and so on and so forth. They use tracer techniques to check the integrity of the well. We also give license to those people. Also, we give license to NDT companies, because there's no way you can do very precise welding without the use of radiation sources. I will also give license to all drilling rigs, because the drilling rigs are used most of the time for the storage of radioactive sources.
Ensuring domestic competence in the regulatory activities of the sector is a priority for the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority (NNRA), as it conducts periodic training and seminars in collaboration with experts from within and outside Nigeria.
In the past, for you to train a radiation worker, you have to send him to UK or to the US. But we reviewed, we looked at our powers in the law. We have a section that says NNRA shall provide training, information and guidance on nuclear safety and radiation protection. This one. And the law says you can establish an institute in cooperation with a university in Nigeria, or you can even do it independently. So we now thought, okay, we now establish an institute in collaboration with University of Ibadan. So we have our National Institute for Radiation Protection and Research. And on a yearly basis, we train radiation workers. Almost, I think, every October, they come to the institute. We train them, we give them training how to calibrate their equipment, how to ensure safety, how to ensure security, and how to ensure the safety of Nigerians, safety of workplace, safety of the environment. Because these sources, once the control is lost, definitely they are very, very dangerous. They could affect environment, they could affect people, and so.
In terms of domestic competence, Nigeria has gone far, and many of our staff are even now international experts, being called to also teach other people in other countries. The process of regulating radiation. Yes, our lawyers are there. They are well trained in the law school in Montepolo in Spain, where IAEA has the training for lawyers. Our experts in radiation protection, in radiation safety, and then nuclear safety are also there. In fact, we have built up a level of expertise that we are now confident that in future Nigeria will be like a trainer for other countries in Africa. Of course, we have started that. Many countries in Africa also send their staff here for training on radiation protection.
The NNRA has drafted 2 regulations, namely the Nigerian Safety Regulations for licensing of sites for nuclear installations and the Nigerian Uranium Exploration, Mining and Processing Regulations for gazetting. The vision of the establishment is the emplacement of the best regulatory control regime for all activities involving ionizing radiation and nuclear energy, while its mission is to regulate radiological protection and nuclear safety so as to ensure the protection of life, health, property and the environment from harmful effects of ionizing radiations, safety and security of radioactive sources and nuclear materials to enable Nigeria meet its national and international obligations on the peaceful uses of nuclear technology. Being an affiliate of the International Atomic Agency (IAEA), the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority's regulatory activities and safety practices have undergone evaluation by the international body, which brought in experts and high-level professionals to scrutinize the nation's operations in the sector. The IAEA Integrated Regulatory Review Service mission encouraged the nation to greater efforts in the sector to ensure maximum efficiency.
We have found also good practice from the Nigerian regulator to the good practice is something that is the case to highlight in the way of conducting regulatory activities, and this attains the area of information and transparency in the relationship that NNRA makes with the media in general terms, also to inform about its field of activities and the risks associated to the use of radiation sources and the exploitation of nuclear energy in general terms. And we identified also some other areas of improvements that you can have been highlighted in the report of the mission that could be the basis for further improvements in the coming future.
Recommendations and suggestions will be examined in detail before the follow-up mission, and hopefully many of the recommendations will be addressed by the time the follow-up mission occurs. Some of the recommendations to government involve legislative change, and that obviously takes a lot longer than internal changes within the regulatory authority. But so some of those may not be completed simply because of the time frame. But the aim of the follow-up is to assess the conclusion of items that were identified in the action plan.
We have been given some recommendations, some suggestions, and some good practices. We will turn the good practices into work plan and begin to implement it with the assistance of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, it is the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that the IAEA cooperates with. We are only facilitators. NNRA is just a facilitator, you know. So it's work in progress, and I hope we'll be there. By the next time they come with government commitment in this, we are going to be getting more good practices than we have gotten this time.
The NNRA carries out periodic sensitization seminars and workshops, as well as interactive sessions with stakeholders to maximize the potentials inherent in the sector, from service providers to ultimate users. Development is hardly a happenstance. Neither is it ever a coincidence. It is, however, a result of a consistent hand on the plow to build a bridge between aspiration and actualization. The Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority remains a determined and committed establishment in the Nigerian project.